Hello there.
Welcome to the VC Jedi Archives.
We are, introductions are in order. If you don't know who we are, my name's Jonathan.
I'm Bryce.
And I'm Mike. And today we're reviewing Star Wars The High Republic Adventures, Dark Horse Comics, Phase 3, issue number 7, Daughters of No World.
Mike, I want to say I really like that sweatshirt. That is a sharp sweatshirt.
This is my Star Tours
I know,
travel
it is
hoodie.
pretty sweet. I do like how it's Ahsoka colors too.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
It's Star Tours colors. Star Tours was before Ahsoka. Ahsoka is Star Tours colors.
I stand behind what I said.
And this issue is called Daughters of No World, and with the Nile Stormwall right at the edge of Eriadu, our heroes rush to evacuate children and non-essential personnel from there and the surrounding area so they can brace for the falling within the dreaded occlusion zone, cut off from the rest of the Republic and open to attack. On their way back from an airlift, Lula, Zine, Quart, Zint, and Farzala come under heavy fire over Bree Frong City. Meanwhile, Crick's Camrat has slipped away from Crash and her crew, with whom they've been plotting an attempt on Marchion Ro's life. Taking matters into his own hands, Crick makes it to the base ship of the Eye of the Nile, where his contact Crank Flat awaits.
It's such a great name too.
Yes.
This is a nice cover. This is a sharp cover.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
And we have two covers,
Love
actually.
the green, teal.
Oh, we do on this one?
We do. We have
actually
two.
Have a variant?
This is the first variant. Mm-hmm. So this is the first. This is the original cover. And it is nice. Has nice colors. And we have two Aloxians. So we have Quart, which Quart we've seen grow up from being a youngling to a full-grown Jedi. And now we have Zint, who was a youngling. And I think Zint's a female Aloxian, right? Looks like
I don't know. Here. I don't know. It's possible.
Look at the long hair. I don't know. And this is a variant.
Oh.
The other one's way better.
The other one, right? The other one's way better. Yeah, the artwork. And this one, she looks like a man, right?
It doesn't look like any of them. It almost looks like somebody kind of, I don't want to shade on the artist, but it's definitely was a different take.
Very different style.
But I think that's what we've seen in some of the variants, especially with the High Republic Adventures and stuff, that what the variant is looks so much different than what we're used to as far as the characters go.
I mean, I do like the way that the men look.
Almost like I'm not a fan of this. Yeah, I like the other one way better.
Yeah. This art style is a lot better. It's different. I like the way that the men
more consistent with what we see in the book, the original is.
Yeah, it is. So two covers. I have this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been to my shop in a while, and they have a lot for me. Ooh. I'm scared. I know I'm gonna go. This is gonna be like $200.
So in this next thrilling chapter of the High Republic saga, it starts here. So this starts off right after the one shot that we just reviewed in the last episode, which was help me because I always mess up the title because there's two one shots. It was what was it, Bryce? You and I did it.
First
it was not Crash Landing. Was it Crash Landing?
Crash Landing was the first one.
Yeah, Crash Landing, not Crash and Burn. Crash and Burn's the next one shot, right?
Yes, correct.
So we have Crash Landing, which is when Alice rescues Crick's Camrat from prison.
Yeah.
And now he's part of the team because Alice, against all her teams, they all told her no, but she went against everybody and still brought Camrat along. And so now he's part of the team in this episode, which is like, what? How did Camrat get part of the team? And then it's going to be episodes 7 and 8, which is parts 1 and 2, and then we'll get crash and burn are one
Correct.
shot at the end.
Yep.
So this is part 1. And in part 1, we have this. There's no rest for the weary in the High Republic. After the reunion, on only a moment's respite, Lula, Zine, and their friends learned that the Nile Stormwall has encroached further into Republic space. Now the team of young heroes prepare to defend the planet Eriadu and the Republic at large from an impending Nile invasion.
Yep.
So, in this episode, it starts out with
Well, they're on the planet, and then that's where they're trying to rescue all of the younglings,
right. They have to
and they're
evacuate all
trying
the
to evacuate.
younglings.
Yep. But the one lady is Lady Krevlin. Krevlin
Yes.
is she's not like going anywhere, right? So
No,
like
she's going to
she's
stay on
staying
the
there,
planet.
and so is her what is it, Severin? Is it Severin?
Right.
She's obviously there to help the elder lady who's in the wheelchair. But we see Zint
Right.
helping her out, and then it takes off that bone mask, and then that's
Well,
what,
she
and
sends her to
and
go
that
get something from the bookcase,
yeah,
right?
correct. And then
And
we
then she
see the
takes off
mask.
her bone mask.
Yep.
Hmm.
And that's when Court says, "Hey, you know, we have to leave these on. We can only take them off when it's time to take them off, because if we take them off too early, you're going to be very dangerous to even the ones you care about."
Hmm.
So, those masks, and I can't remember exactly what they call them, but the masks have a purpose, to kind of like channel
Yeah,
aggression.
it's called a Von Dune
Okay.
helmet. Hmm.
Yeah, so they definitely
So
have a purpose with, the Aloxian.
right, right. Because even Court had one. Remember? And because
Oh
remember,
yeah.
Court
Yep.
when Court was with what's the pirate Mascanada, and Court was wild without the mask.
Yes.
And it
Yep.
wasn't until Court got the mask that Court calmed down. Uh, so
Yep.
remember that from phase 1.
Yeah, and then
I
we
mean,
remember Court actually, I think, didn't the helmet break, but Court was ready at that point to,
Right,
you know.
right. Hmm. So then, and Zint didn't want to leave. But then Court tells Zint, you know what? All the other younglings have already left, have been evacuated, and it's for your safety and everybody else's. So it's time because it's right on the edge of the occlusion zone. So they're taking off, and then we go to Cornet City in Corellia, and this is when we see Alice and Crix and Fazank and Bainu and Sivno. They're all together at a bar, and Rue, and they're talking about how they're gonna kill
Mark
uh,
Yamo. Yeah.
Mark Rowe, right? How they're gonna plot against them because it's Alice's Crash's idea that Crix knows how to get close to Mark Rowe because he was part of his whole entourage.
Yeah,
Um,
and Crix is adamant that, because how they're planning it didn't seem like it was going to work, and so Crix is like, you should have just gone with my plan, and let me get him face to face.
right.
He said it in the one shot.
Hmm.
That's what he wanted to do.
Right.
He's saying it here again.
In the bar, right in front of everybody.
Yep. And then
And
he pieces out.
right, he just storms out. He's like, I need some air, and he runs out. Right, he storms out, and then he goes over to the ship to
Oh,
to
remember he calls was it Crank, was it Crank Flat?
Bledlow 7,
Crank,
right? Bledlow 7.
Is that who it was?
He tells Blood 7 get the ship ready, but he tells Blood 7 to get the ship ready, and then it cuts over back to the ship where we have Court and Zint and
On
Zine.
well, now it's Farzala and
Mhm.
Quart and Zine.
Oh yeah, Farzala,
Um,
Court, and Zine because they're supposed
yeah,
to evacuate Zint.
yep, yes. Zint's on the ship, but the scene that you're talking about, Zint's not there. I mean, he's on the or she's on the ship, but not present during the three-way conversation that happens. Which
Right, because they're evacuating and because they're piloting and she's in the front with them. And they're
yes,
they're heading to Malister, the outpost, because that's where they're evacuating to.
yep.
And because they have the other younglings too, right? Or is it only Zint?
No, they've got more people on the on. They've loaded more up on there.
Mhm.
Because at one point well, I don't want to try too far ahead because obviously the conversation between Farzala, Zine, and Quart is how Zine wants to spend the rest of her life with Lula, and she feels that Lula feels the same way and had a special bracelet made
Right.
for that occasion, and specifically says, um, you don't have to be a Tarkin, which I thought was kind of weird, but you don't have to be a Tarkin to wear one of these.
Right, because she
Um,
had it made on Area Do, which is where the
yeah,
Tarkin family is from.
yeah.
That's
So I thought that was kind of a cool reference to who the Tarkins are
hmm
basically
hmm
um, in the universe, even prior to Grand Moff Tarkin in the original trilogy and even Clone Wars, really.
right,
Um,
right.
so talking about how she wants to marry him, all of that, but then she's not sure, and then they both kind of like, I'm 10,000% sure that this is gonna go the way you want it to, kind of thing.
Right.
So, but then that's when it flashes back to Corellia, and we see Crix talking. Is it Crank Flat? Is that Crank Flat? Is the one that's there? I thought because he goes, no, I'm just leaving. You need to make sure that Crash and her crew get aboard this other ship and meet me where I'm going.
Well, it's the Crankflat's the one where he meets when he gets to the Gaze Electric.
Okay.
Yeah, so the one that he meets there at the ship is the one he told to get ready the ship was Crash's friend. Um, let me see, Bledlow 7. And so he tells Bledlow 7, he's like, "Oh, get the ready the ship, and we can." He's like, "Not we, just me," because he's taking the ship by himself because he's going to into the occlusion zone to confront Ro by himself. And then Bloodlow Seven's like, "What?" It's like, "Oh, I'm getting in so much trouble." But he just takes off with the ship. But he
Yeah.
leaves he leaves a gift for Crash, which is like a clunky little Nile ship, right? Which is like
Right.
junk. Um, and he takes off to go into the occlusion zone. And Bloodlow Seven was like, "Oh my God, Crash is gonna kill me," you know.
Right. Yeah.
And then we go to it cuts over to where
They're on
Lula's
Malister
yeah, they're on
at
Malister
that
and
point. Yep.
Lula's talking to Master uh what's her
Oh
name?
gosh.
What's her name? One of the
This is like
masters.
something like Shmi or something like that. It wasn't really Shmi, but it started with an S.
Is it
Um,
Master? It's not Master Sai.
no, it's not Master Sai, but or it's like it's it starts with an S. It could be Shma or something like that.
Well, she's talking to her about her decision to leave the order and
Yeah.
how why it was her decision for herself, that
Mhm.
it was her right move for herself because it's what she needed, not for her love for Zine, but
Right.
for her who she needed to be for herself. And she goes, well, and that even Master Cantum had told her that they knew that they felt it was coming before Starlight fell. And she tells her, well, Master Cantum was one of the wisest Jedi that I ever met. So then, Lula, if you're happy, then that's what you need to do. She goes, oh, thank you, Master. Oh, Master Shko. That's her name, Shko.
Okay.
Master
Yeah.
Shko. It's a
Okay.
difficult
Thank
one.
you.
Um, and then it cuts over to where they're meeting because they're gonna go over and they're talking about they don't think that it's gonna spread, right? Because it's only spread when they've been attacked. And there haven't been any attacks, so they're not worried about the storm wall. There only have been like one or two ships coming out, Nile ships. So they're not
Hmm.
really concerned. But they're talking about the warden that that
Did they
the
talk about the ward?
that their spies say that they have this oh, no, that they destroyed the prison ship. That the spies have told them how they destroyed the prison ship, right? When they got Crix.
Got it.
And that Crix made the story, right?
I feel like we're failing here.
I know, because it was too much going on.
There was a lot. I'm trying to let's go back to that mouse there. Yeah, but with the storm wall so close, a nasty general called the Warden has massed his small fleet at our doorstep. Our spies say that he told his own version of how we destroyed his prison ship to make himself look good and somehow got himself a promotion. Who was going to contradict him? But he still calls himself the Warden. It's pretty much his whole personality. Probably got his name officially changed to that. First name the, last name Warden, which was just kind of a funny thing from Court. And then Lola then had to say middle name War, last name Den. So they did mention it, but the Warden's the one that talked about they destroyed his ship, but really he destroyed his own ship.
Right. Then it
So he
cuts to
wanted to
the
become a martyr.
right. It cuts to the occlusion zone, and Crix is coming. He calls into the Nile ship, and he says,
Yep.
"This is Commander Crix." Make himself sound all big, and he's coming across, and he calls back and says, "Hey, I left you a gift." And Alice is like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "The comms are going to cut out because I'm crossing the occlusion zone, the storm wall, but
Yep.
you're going to have to come get me out of the OZ." And she's like, "What?" And then it cuts off, and he gets
Yep.
in,
Yep. And
and
then the
then we
communications then came clear. Commander, because they could refer to him as Commander
right,
Cameron.
right. And then we also have because they take off, right? They leave. They leave. It's Farzala and Quart,
Yeah, the Barza Court, Zint,
Lula, and Zine,
Lula, and Zine. Yeah.
and they're leaving the planet because they've already evacuated everybody,
Yep.
and they're talking. And now Lula's telling them, "Hey, I've got to surprise Zine because I want to marry
Right.
her and I want to propose." Which they don't know that Lula's already. She doesn't know that Lula's already talked to them about the same thing.
You mean Zine. Lula
Zine has
doesn't know
already
Zine already talked to him.
right. Lula doesn't know, but Zine has. She did on the way in, and now Lula's doing it on
Yep.
the way out.
Right.
And so they're like, "Oh my gosh, they know the whole story." And as they're talking, that's when they realize, "Hey, we've got all these fighters coming in. They're right on top of us." And they're like, "What is it?" There's like, "It's more than usual." They're like, "What are you talking about?" And then they notice that Zint is there. They're like, "Hey, what happened?" Zint stayed on the ship with them, right? Didn't stay on the planet.
Yeah, he didn't. You or she didn't. but you could see in that same panel, same page where they were talking about the warden, as they were walking away, since peeking around from a pillar,
Right.
like, oh, I'm gonna follow you, but I'm not gonna let you know that I'm following you.
Right. Zint was sneaking, but they thought that Zint was supposed to stay because they were evacuating, but Zint didn't. But they're all shocked, like Zint. And so they're
Yeah.
all on board the ship, and then Lula's there, Zena's there, but also Zint, who was not supposed to be there. And they're being attacked by these Nile ships. Um, and then it cuts
And
over
they do
to
get hit. They do
they
get
do get
hit,
hit.
and you see them going down, and that's the last that we see of them, because yeah, like you said, then it pants back
It,
over, and what
to
we
the
see is the
occlusion
gaze,
zone.
and then we see the gaze electric.
And that's when the communication is really clear between
Yep.
Camerat and the Gaze Electric,
Yep.
and he's calling himself Commander Camerat. They're like, "Welcome back, Commander Camerat. You can," and it says to be continued, and that's the end of this part 1.
Mm-hmm.
To be continued.
Yes, to be continued. Jonathan, thank you for your contribution today. Hyperspace Props are the official sponsor of the Not So Virtual Cantina Special Edition in Japan. Pre-order your credits and cosplay props at www.hyperspaceprops.com. Use code NSVCSE for 10% off. And they do make really good stuff. So it is quality stuff that they make. So
It really is.
take
I
advantage
bought
of that
mine
10% off.
when they were out here for the not so
The
virtual
family
at
vacation.
family vacation. I bought mine in person, and they were really nice quality. So
yeah, they also were a big sponsor of one of the Boon teams, if I'm not mistaken, too. Yeah, and then we, been on their website and seen all the stuff that they make. It's pretty sweet.
So what did you guys think about this part 1?
Jonathan?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
I'm having I don't know if you got my message. But I'm having
Oh, I
serious.
wasn't even looking at my phone.
No, on the chat.
Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
you
look.
said something in the chat. I didn't even pay attention.
Oh, I'm not in I can't see the chat.
I should be able to.
Oh, yes, I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's fun because obviously it's leaving us for more. But it is it's a very interesting story they're telling, bringing back Crix and trying to make him. I don't know if he's playing both sides or if he's trying to actually be better, but it's a very interesting story, kind of full circle.
Yeah.
Interesting to see where they go with this. So.
Oh, I agree. He's definitely the wild card in the whole thing. So it'd be kind of, which makes you wonder, when you think like we have the crash landing where they rescue Crix. Now we're into this. We see Crix go off on his own. Is he following the plan he says he's going to follow?
Is he going to betray them?
Or yeah, so this is possible. Do I want to make up for being a bad guy and actually take out Markian Rowe, or am I using that as a way to get back in favor with Markian Rowe, or am I going, hey, I'm going to do this, but this is not why I'm going to do this. It's because I want to control the Nile.
Yeah.
So there's like 3 different ways this could turn out. So
I think it's nefarious. I think he's playing them, but we'll see.
Yeah. I hate him. So
and that could be why like the one shot after, obviously this is part 1, part 2, and then you have the one shot crash and burn.
Yeah, it's very
Kind of
ominous.
tells you something's not going to go good. So
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really I think it's really cool that they did bring him back, and he does have a prominent role, because I thought his story was over and done with. But good on
right.
Daniel Jose Older to bring him back and make him a prominent character. That was really, really clever and really good, because it's somebody that we do know from phase 1, and interesting to see a character grow like that. It's good.
Yes. Now, if Cam Scott had wrote this book, we know that Crix never would have come back.
Right. He would have been dead and gone. Right.
Very few people
Correct.
survive from phase 1 all the way to now.
Yeah.
That's true too. Yeah.
Any last final thoughts on it, guys?
It's a good solid comic. Like what Mike said, it a lot going on. So trying to
It's very,
come up
very
with really
dense. Yes.
yeah, this one's probably one of the more,
Readable.
we've got the zine and Lula, I want to marry you thing. Then we've got, the whole
Mhm.
Crix and Crash, going on, plus the
The Zen
evacuation.
and
And
Port and
yeah, and so there was a lot going on
there's
in
a
this
lot.
um
But not only that, then
comic. So
you've got all of Crash's team, and you've got all
yeah,
the Jedi team. There's a lot
yeah,
of characters, a lot of dialogues going on. It's really dense.
yes, this one was very read heavy.
Read heavy for sure.
Yeah, but I liked it. I
Mhm.
think Adventures is a great line, and and we're issue 7. I think we're soon to be. What, 14?
Well,
We have 13 or 14 out now.
Yes.
So
I like that we're starting to kind of see the payoff. We've been following these characters for 2-3 years. We're kind of
Mhm.
starting to see where we might have some in game to end up. So I mean, I don't think this is going to go much longer. So I think we're
no,
kind of see where it
Yep.
goes, which is good.
no, we've got a lot of mini series in Star Wars. No big, no big main books. Everything right now is all miniseries. This is going to be the longest of the Phase 3 comics.
Right.
All
right, guys.
Are we doing holocrons or no?
Yeah,
I'm gonna wait for
I
Holocaust.
could.
You want to do 'em? I was gonna wait till after phase part 2 because this part 1. We need part 2 really.
All right,
Okay.
fair enough.
It's a cliffhanger. I want to wait for part 2
Fair
because
enough.
it's really
Yeah.
it's the
No,
whole story.
you have to make a decision now. I'm kidding.
No, I'll wait. No, I'll wait. I'm with Mike on this.
Yeah, let's
We'll
wait till
wait.
part 2 because it's not the whole story.
This is a very solid book, and I think the second part's gonna make it better.
Yes.
So,
All
so
right.
we might
Make sure
actually
you
get
follow
Jonathan if we wait. If we wait and do it, Jonathan might actually rate something higher than a 3.5.
No, this is gonna honestly. I like where it's going. I feel like we're finally getting some traction on this storyline instead of just following characters. So I like where this is going. All right, let me start this again so I don't have to wait. Be sure you follow us on YouTube at Virtual Cantina Network, on Instagram at virtual.cantina network, on X at Cantina Virtual, on Threads at virtual.cantina network, and Hive at Virtual Cantina, and on TikTok at Virtual Cantina. And like the VCN Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025 Facebook page, it's the main page. We'll all be there. We'll all celebrate Star Wars. Hopefully, we all get to go to Japan next year.
Mm-hmm.
Please like, subscribe, and mainly comment. I mean, that's the big one. Please comment. We love to talk to you guys. And we are doing an after show for the Skeleton Crew. There's tons of fun and energy going on there.
Yes,
And
very
hard to
cool.
believe.
Very cool.
So we're having a lot of fun over this. So please watch that. That is every Friday morning, right? Every Friday morning? I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so it's 12 o'clock, 12 a.m.
Midnight
Pacific.
Pacific, 3
Yeah,
a.m.
midnight
Eastern.
Pacific and 3 a.m. Eastern.
Okay.
For all you nocturnal creatures out there, you have something to offer you.
Thank you for watching, and may the force be with you.
See you next
May the force
time.
be with you.